Have you gone through the PPT last time I gave it to you on the group, Cheryl?
Yes, Professor. But not everything, just like a few bits.
Okay, fine. Let me have a quick review, and then we will see how we have to proceed on, especially on our case studies and so on. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, Professor.
Okay. So let's do a little bit of recap. What is we are talking about when we are talking about critical thinking?
Professor, can't see the PowerPoint. The folder is being shared.
Yeah, Professor.
Really? Sharing this PPT looks a little odd for me. Just give me a moment. Yes, let me try this way. Yeah, I think it should be okay now. Now it's okay?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. So, as we said, sitting on top of your shoulder is one of the finest computer on the earth. Do you believe this, guys? But like any other muscle in your body, it needs to be exercised to work its best. And this exercise is called thinking. So this all class is all about thinking and how you're going to exercise your brain. All the supercomputers in this world is designed by human and by their brains. So that's why we say we are the best, finest computer on the earth sitting on our head. When we talk about critical thinking, generally we are talking about problem solving, not being content with the first solution to a problem, but thinking more deeply about it. Because the first solution is not always the right answer or a right solution to the problem until you have, several options and several solutions to the same, and then you pick up the right one, the one which is the best one. And to do this, you have to be knowing the problem very well, understanding the problem very well, analyzing the problem very well, synthesizing it, applying it, and then evaluating the ideas or a problem. So this is a process, and that's what you generally do in your brain and also in your group. Looking for what is implied in a question rather than what is stated. This is very important. For example, if I gave you a topic and the topic itself raises certain question, you have to understand what I'm looking for, what you are looking for. Logic has to be used to solve it or to come up with an answer, not your reason or your emotions or things like that should be considered. So critical thinking is a kind of process which we need to go through it step by step and try to get exactly the result which we all are looking for. And when we are looking for the results or the answers, there are different ways the people think. Each individual have their own thinking way. For example, some people will think abstract, thinking past with what your senses tell you, This is very common. Another type of people will talk about creative thinking, out of the box, innovating. Mr. Hasibul is one of the creative thinker, I believe. So he will think out of the box, and he's a good in time management. Then another kind of people is systematic thinking people. Organize your thought into logical steps. This is another way people think. And then this is me, communicative thinking. This is my being precise in giving your ideas to others. So each person has their own way of thinking. Now, please understand this, and then I will have a very quick survey. Our class, what kind of people are there? What kind of thinkers we have? We have abstract thinkers, creative thinkers, systematic thinkers, or a communicative thinkers. So please understand this four aspect of thinking process. Again, I repeat, abstract thinker, they think about the past and what their senses tell they follow. Creative thinkers thinks out of the box, innovators come up with new ideas, new solutions, new options, and always think beyond the box, beyond the parameters set for them. Systematic thinkers organize their thoughts into logical steps. They are very systematic in whatever they do. This is the brain training they have, and it comes for various background. Depends on exactly where they come from, the culture, the education, the background, the family, the way they bring up in their life, the school they studied, what kind of teachers they have gone through in their process of being taught. Many factors will determine the individual personality on thinking. Then we are talking about communicative thinking, being precise in giving your ideas to others. Generally, communicative thinking is done by teachers or done by bosses or the motivational speakers, and try to pinpoint exactly the nucleus of what the topic is all about to make the people understand. I always told in the class before also that there are three kind of people in this world. One, great minds. What the great mind do, whenever great mind meets together, they will always think and discuss ideas, innovative ideas, to do something special, to think what they could do to change the current situation. Then there are second kind of people in this world who will focus, what we say, average mind people, who will focus on what events are happening, what's going on around, what's the thing happening around the world, and who's their peers or others, what they are doing, and they only discuss those kind of things. And then finally comes the small mind people. When we say small mind people, the people who discuss ideas, not discuss events, but discuss people. So you have to decide yourself, you should be a great mind, average mind, or small mind people. So let me have a quick survey for you to see in our class dynamic which kind of thinkers we have. Here you go. Systematic thinkers, wow. Mithi, what kind of thinker you are?
Systematic thinker.
Sorry?
Systematic thinker.
Systematic thinker. Okay. Amy?
I think creative thinker.
Creative thinker. Okay.
I think.
Hasibul?
Systematic thinker, Professor.
Okay. Ang Wanshan?
Abstract thinker.
Okay, good. So let's see the result. 32 people have already voted and polled. Here is the result. So in our class, we have systematic thinker the highest. 50% of our class have got systematic thinking process. Sounds good. And then 22% are creative thinkers, the second lot. And the third lot is communicative thinker, 19%. And abstract thinker is 9%. Yeah, sounds cool. Okay, Shana, which kind of thinker you are?
Systematic thinker, sir.
Okay, good. Okay. So do you understand the difference of these process of thinking, how people think? Do you understand this? Can anybody explain me? By giving an example? Hasibul?
Yeah, Professor.
Yeah, give me
Which
an
should I
example.
explain? Like systematic thinking or other
The
type
one
of
you the one you are.
Like Professor, if I get to think about anything or do anything, I just first try to arrange everything systematically, like time management, who will do what, and try to get every logical ideas from everyone from my group. And then I choose the best ideas and implement those. That's why I think I'm a systematic thinker.
I see. Okay, Mithi, what about you?
Yes.
Mithi, yeah. What kind of thinker you are?
Systematic thinker, maybe.
Yes, not maybe. You should be sure what you are.
Yes, systematic thinker.
Okay, and why you think you are a systematic thinker?
Like when I think about anything, then I make a plan about it, like organizing it and everything like that. Then
Okay, so now in your group, how you are managing it? Like if an assignment is given to you, how you are managing it?
now we have like individual assignment, right? But when it will come to the group assignment, maybe that time we'll plan everything. Now we have planned for ourselves, like how we'll submit the assignment and all.
Okay, thank you. Cheryl,
Yes, Professor.
what about you?
For me, I have a diary, so I usually record everything that I need to do. And then based on what I've written, like I try to schedule what I need to get done and what I don't have to get done early. So that's how I plan out my things. That's why I say I'm a systematic thinker.
But your mobile keep ringing 24/7. How you are going to systematize your study and your thinking? Mobile is the biggest distractor.
Yeah, I usually put it on mute.
Okay. How about Salim?
Yeah, Professor. Actually, I was going to ask you a question. Well, I prefer myself a creative thinker. It is just because I prefer to judge a situation, to do a thing with different ways, to approach it on a different way, not just only a way. I try to figure out the foundation of that thing to understand it better. That's why I choose creative thinking. Uh, Actually, Professor, I did have a question regarding abstract thinking. I was thinking that all we are not abstract thinker. I mean, it's natural. I think we understand and we judge a thing by our past experience and our senses before. I mean, going to do some research about that thing and making a more creative answer. But first, we go through it on abstract way, right, Professor?
You see, again, it's all depends on individual. Each person has his own way of thinking. Some personal things, maybe you get shadowed by your past experience or your past life uh, and your circumstances. But when you talk about academically, when you talk about professionally, you generally there is a way of approaching your thought process whenever something is assigned to you. You may take certain portion because you're a human with a past experience, something you gathered and a successful story of the past. You may implement into your thinking process. But here is the question is the logic, how you approach to your mind approaches, your mindset. You know what I mean?
Yes, Professor, I did understand. But I say that the first at that you found out a situation, you judge that situation by your, I mean, past experiences and your current knowledge. I mean, that's what my senses say about abstract thinking. That we all are abstract thinkers sometimes. I mean, some of us are always abstract thinker, not being creative. I didn't say that. About that, I said that it's a small part within us which is
Yes,
present.
yes, yeah, that's true. But as I said just now, when you go on an academic field and when you go in your office, your approach of thinking has to be different because it's not personal. This is something which you are aligned to a goal. You're aligned to a particular mission. You're aligned to a particular project. You're aligned for learning. So the approach of your thinking has to be different.
That's what creative thinkers do, Professor.
No, not necessarily everybody has to be a creative thinker. It's a mindset. It's not that everybody is a creative thinker. It's a very good idea. There always should have a mix. There always should have a different kind of thinking people. The primary instinct of thinking. It does not restrict you that you cannot be a creative thinker. You will be a creative thinker, and you can train yourself into it. But a basic instinct has to be, what you are, originality of yours. The way you think, way you approach. That's what we are looking at this moment. Then you develop the critical thinking process, and then you go into different phases within your group. And if the group dynamics have different kind of people with a different thinking process, it's always great. If everybody is thinking creative and then nobody is doing systematic thinking, nobody is bringing in other kind of thinking pattern into the group dynamics. You follow me?
Yeah, Professor, I got it. Really good answer. Thank you.
Yeah. Let me talk to Hiba the last. Hiba, where are you? Hiba is here today in the class?
Yeah, Professor, I'm here.
Okay. What about you?
I'm more of a communicative thinker, I guess. Supposing.
Okay, good. What about you, Chen?
I think I'm combination of systematic and communicative.
Okay. Anastasia, right? Anastasia. Very difficult name. I will tell you Anna. Yeah, Anna.
Okay.
What
I'm
kind of thing?
systematic.
Why you are so sure that you are systematic?
Because when I choose a task, I try to see the task that I need, subtasks, and then I decide how can I be creative in those subtasks.
Okay, good. So let's see now to the next session. Thank you for your polling. So we are clear now what kind of thinkers we are and what could be the advantage and disadvantage of it. Now, let's see a very interesting question here. When we are talking about critical thinking, let's see what is involved. First is question. What is being asked? Then the purpose. Why do I want the answer? Then comes point of view. Where do I stand to look at the question? Then come information. What data do I have? Then we come with the concept. What idea are involved? Then we come with the assumption. What am I taking for granted? Then comes your inference. What conclusion am I drawing? And then comes your consequences. What are the implications of my question? For example, I gave you a topic for a group discussion, healing the world. Now, this looks a very simple topic, but everyone has their own way to address it. Everyone has their own perspective to interpret through various process of their critical thinking, their point of view, the information they gather. Not everybody gather Michael Jackson the world concept. The different concepts people get, assumptions they make, inferences they come out with, and then they come up with the right consequences, script, write up, and then they speak. Similarly, now we are talking about biological harmony with nature, sustainability of nature. Now, how everyone will interpret this is a question which we need to ponder upon, and that's what I want every group should do. And critically, everyone has to be thinking who, when, where, how, all the process. Critical thinkers also acknowledge personal limitation, see problem as exciting challenges, not think as a headache. They understanding their goals, use evidence to make judgment, and they're interested in others' idea. They're skeptical of extreme views, think before acting, avoid emotionalism, keep an open mind. These are the characteristics of a critical thinker, other than the what kind of person you are and the way you think. These are the key important factors which you need to establish in yourself as a critical thinker. And whenever any assignment, any topic, or a case study is provided to you, you have to think that in a systematic way, divide the work within the group. I will come up later how you're going to prepare that. Now the case studies are coming up. Now all the group members, how they will study together the case study, how they come up with various ideas out of that, and then how the group presents a PPT, what they understand from a particular case study. So you'll be finding it very interesting that different groups will have different ideas of the same case study. Uncritical thinkers, what they do? They pretend to know more than they do, get annoyed by problems, are impatient, judge on first impression and intuition, focus on their own opinions. They push their opinion to others, look only for ideas like their own. are guided by feeling rather than thoughts. Bring emotion into it. So you have to be very clear to avoid and claim that thinking gives them a headache. So you have to be very careful when you are being given an assignment, how the team leader, deputy team leader, and the supervisor, the three people in each group, and they all are mature and they know how to manage each other very well so that everything comes out with a very good result. If somebody give you a contract to sign, what you do? You read and sign, or you just sign it? Okay, thank you. I trust you, sir. I will sign. What is your reaction? Salim?
Professor, obviously, I would prefer to read it first. I mean, without, reading it, I don't know what it is all about, and it will be in my favor or not. I mean, whatever, we discussed on the meeting, and if it's not there, what we have agreed on, if it's not on the paper, that it will be all a mess.
Did you ever sign any contract in your life?
Not yet, Professor. I'm waiting for one.
Yes. I think soon you will be, generally the student, the first contract you will sign is when you rent a house. So when you come to China, if you don't stay in the dormitory and you have to stay outside the campus, the first contract which you are going to sign as a student is rent contract. Well, certain contracts, for example, I will read some of the contract, but some contract I don't read. If a bank gave me some document, this thick document, or an insurance company with 20, 30, 40 pages, even if you sign it in Google, you make a Google account, they say, do you agree terms and condition? You never look, you just say click yes, and you jump into the next and you get everything. Same in many social media or many places, we generally do that. We will not read. They say, okay, do you agree terms condition? You just don't care, just say, just agree, and then you go to the next. Why we do that? Is there somebody who will read all the terms condition? Hiba, will you read all terms condition of using Google?
I did once because I was bored, but no, actually, I mean, I just did it once.
You did once?
Yeah, basically, I was bored, that's why.
Why you did that? What made you do that?
I was, I don't know, I'd say, I just was, like, I was bored, like, I didn't have anything to do, so basically I was like, okay, let me just read this and, like, find out about it.
And what was your conclusion?
Nothing. Basically, it's just like they give you, like, how to say, it doesn't add you anything if you read it or you don't read it. In the end, you will like have to approve it. So a waste of time, I guess.
Yes. So it's a kind of mindset. You said you did it just because you had a time and you wanted to just use it and you read it. But there are certain people which we know, whatever happened, what may happen, or whatever situation, if anything they need to agree or agree or sign or whatever, they will ask time and go through it. Maybe it's just a routine clauses, but they will not jump into it, and they will be very careful. And generally we say these people are old school people, but actually they are the people who will do very systematically, read everything and make sure they understand. If they have any question, they will ask, and then they sign. So this is also one way we say that they are very critically thinking. Whenever they do something, they make sure what they are doing is correct and it's into their favor and it's no problem for them. So
Please, Professor, can I ask a question?
please go ahead.
Is it possible for a person to be both a critical thinker and critical thinker?
Sorry, can you repeat?
is it possible for a person to be both a critical thinker and a critical thinker?
Yes, sure. Sure.
Okay.
The-
So, yeah. The second question, is it possible to change for a person before he was a critical thinker and now he is a critical thinker? Is it possible to switch?
No, the person who's critical thinker, he'll always be a critical thinker because this is his habit. This is his brain trained, it's his
Yeah.
mind. Like, for example, a lawyer. Not everybody can become a lawyer, and not everybody become a doctor. Not everybody can become a professor. Not everybody can become an entrepreneur. It is the way they think about and the way they progress in life, the way they go forward. They will always, once a critical thinker, he'll always be a critical thinker. This is his
Okay.
inbuilt personality he develops. So there is no he may at circumstances, he may tend to ignore certain thing in certain given circumstances for not thinking critically certain subject, which could be personal or could not be of much importance in his mind. But in general, in a professional setup, he will still always think critically.
Okay. So, Professor, if it is something we develop, so maybe a person can develop a thing was not initially his character, if I can say like that.
Yes, it's a process. It's a process. So that's why when you come to the university, you are being trained to be a critical thinker. You are trained to how to analyze and how to compare things, how to prepare the statistics and data, how to compile reports, how to compile your thesis, and then finally, you get graduated. So this is why it's a kind of training and education you get in the university to change your thinking and mind setup, to start let you train you academically first. After academic training, you go on a kind of projects which you do, on a case study you do, and then after that you may do an internship. And after generally the internship is a part and parcel of your education. Before you graduate, it's a part of the credits. You get 8 credits for internship in grade 4 on the 4th year. So the whole holistic approach is made just to make sure that you are ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, Professor, thank you for your answer.
Okay, good. So let's see there's a thinker have got some very special characteristics which we are talking about. They have a like strange lexicon. First is inference, a judgment based on evidence. Then there are people who are plausible, logical and believable, credible. Validity, truthful, well-founded. Claim, to assert as a fact whether it is or not. Then what is a fact? A truth that cannot be disputed. Opinion, a personal view or a belief. And then comes an argument, a set of claims to support an assertion. And then finally the assumptions and inference that is believed to be true. Many times when you are in your group doing something, do you come into any arguments, Ahmed?
Actually, sometime.
And how you handle the arguments?
Yeah, I think in our group we say that it's true that we face challenges, but we don't focus on challenge. We focus on the outcomes always, because challenges are part of our life, so we can't avoid them. we try to solve them, but our main priority is to focus on the outcomes.
How you come to that, how you drive to come to the solution which you are looking for, how you handle it.
Having alternative plans. We may have plan A. If it fails, we can have plan B. If plan B fails, we can have plan C. So we try to link different plans or solutions so as to get our outcomes.
Great. I like this word plan A, plan B, plan C. We always need to have this in our life. And we learn, it's good that you are learning now. Sometimes many people learn this very late. In fact, no one was taught this in the university when we were students. So it's good that you understand this. Now let's see in our critical thinking what we understand by inductive and deductive reasoning of whatever topic you are being looking at. Now here is an example is all college. Now we are trying to see inductive and deductive reasoning. Specific reasoning. My history class required a lot of reading, or my academic English class requires a lot of reading. That is specific reasoning. Broad principles. All college courses have a lot of reading. Deductive reasoning, broad generalization. Courses are hard. Specific conclusion will be hard. So many times when you start reasoning anything in your mind, you will do either inductive or deductive. Let's see. One quality of a good critical thinker is the ability to ask on-target questions. If you don't usually ask questions, is it because you fear embarrassment? Worry what others will think of you? Worry that the instructor or a teacher will think your question is strange? Worry that others will think you are showing off, or something else which can come up in your mind? When you don't ask questions, you sacrifice your education. If you don't take risk, you won't get the maximum benefit in developing your mind. So let me have a very quick quiz here. Can you see it? Please read carefully. You have a multiple choice. You, Chen, you signed the mobile phone contract, right?
I think it's what a lot of people do nowadays.
Yeah. So yeah, many countries have, many countries don't have. But yes, most of the countries you get a kind of, you can get a special price for your mobile phone, and you sign a contract with them for 12 months to pay X amount of money and pay the installment of your mobile, etc., etc. Do you read all this contract?
I mean, mobile phone was my second contract. My first one, I didn't read through. Then, then things happened. Then after that, learn a lesson. Then, yeah, from there onwards, then just read every contract. Like I think there was a time it took me 10 minutes to read through the entire contract just to get to know what is the gist of it. And yeah, I even just question on the spot, like question the person, like how these plans work. Then if I do this, like what do I get? Something like that. Just basically, yeah, I think that's what critical thinking means. Yeah, so clarify on the spot. I mean, that's what I do. Then, yeah. If not, you'll just eat up a lot of your money. Like, yeah, it's not worth it. Yeah. Yeah, the main thing is don't lose your money. So yeah, critical thinking is important.
So when the money comes, you think very critically. When the money is not the issue, you don't think critically.
Depends on situation. I mean, like when it come to when like come to like friendship or relationship, it's very, very hard to think logically. Yeah. I mean, depends on situation. When it comes to money, then think logically. When it comes to people, then think from their perspective. Yeah.
Okay, good. So thank you, Chen. I think this is a people's habit. How many people, they will read the contract, they will critically analyze every clause before even they sign it, and this I've seen many people do that, and that's how is a personality of what kind of brain train he or she has when he and she's approaching anything in life, including not only academics or professional in future, but also your day-to-day life. So now 32 students out of 35 have chosen. Let's see the result here. Okay. So the 59% of the people think, no, 63% of the people think, I question the authority of evidence before I accept it. Right? That's a very good character of a critical thinker. I question the authority of evidence before I accept it. That means you check the credibility of the information or the evidence. The second is 59%. No matter how complex a problem, you can bet there will be a simple solution. Okay, good. Then the next is, just because information is in the textbook doesn't necessarily mean it can be trusted, right? I hate talk shows where people just take their opinion but never give any reasons at all. Okay. Then I like to think about whether someone's view reflect the experience of all group of people. Okay, 34%. Selling an idea is like selling cars. You can say whatever works. My views are probably shaped up by social and economic groups I belong to. Yes? Cheryl?
Sorry, Professor. I have like network issues, so I couldn't hear your question. What was the question?
The question is that do you agree? What are the statement here people have chosen?
Yes, Professor.
Salim?
Yes, Professor. I do agree most of them, but some of them a little.
Sorry?
I said that I do agree most of the answers, but some of them I agree a little bit. I mean, about the complexity of the problem. I mean, finding out a simple solution, it doesn't actually works. I mean, if you are working on a complex problem, you are expecting it to be I mean, more creative one. I mean, not just a simple solution, simple answer. And in a real world example, when you're facing a complex problem, so it's very rare you find a very simple solution. I mean, it doesn't come up with simplicity. It comes with more complexity, I think, what I've seen in life so far.
Very interesting. Very
Please,
interesting.
Professor,
Yeah.
can I respond to Salim?
Yeah,
On my
please.
point of view, I think that the complexity of the problem depends on your view of that problem. So usually, the problem can be really simple, but we find it complicated. So the solution can be very simple, but we think the solution is complex. So that's why the solution of a complex problem can be very simple on my point of view.
Yeah, but the thing is how you judge a complexity. I mean, how you define the complexity. There's a question.
The complexity depends on your view of the problem, because what is complicated for me, it is not as complicated for another person. So maybe for me it's difficult, but for another person is very simple. That's why the solution can be also very simple.
Good answer. Salim, Jessica gave a very interesting answer.
Yeah, Professor. Yeah. I said that earlier that how we define complexity and simplicity, these are two different things.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Now I have something. Can you see on the screen?
Yeah, Professor, I can see it.
So that line you see, imagine this is your problem, how you're going to solve it.
I'm not getting it, Professor. I mean, the line is my problem. How can I solve it?
Yeah, just imagine this is a problem. This big is your problem. Just imagine this big is your problem.
I can probably erase it. I mean, the line, or can shout out of it.
Yeah, many people give the same answer.
Yeah, a silver lining point, maybe.
Everybody instantly give the same answer, what you just gave just now, because you're abstract thinker. Okay, let's ask Jessica.
Maybe to move it.
No, by moving it, your problem doesn't go. The problem is there. If there is already a problem, you need to solve it. You cannot erase it, cannot move it. You need to solve it. My question is how to solve it from your mind. Hasibo?
Cut it into pieces and give it to my team members.
No. This is not yet. You cannot delegate your problem, my dear. You have to solve yourself.
Then just erase it and
you cannot erase it.
Gone.
It has to be solved. Erase doesn't mean the problem is erased. It's mind, it's something to do with your mind. The problem is in your mind. So this has to be solved in your mind. Hiba?
I'm still thinking about how to solve this problem. I mean, because I'm barely understand what's the problem actually. So I'm still thinking about it.
Anastasia?
So we can see how this line is our problem. Maybe
Sorry?
we can draw over it. I say we can draw over it if it's like the line itself is the problem. So change it not to a line, but for example, some figure that contains this line.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Ganesh?
Can I try?
Yeah, please try.
I think
It's
we
all
have to
about
define the
mind
problem
thinking.
first.
Please, problem is always in your mind. Okay.
Yes, only I think we have to define the problem first.
Okay.
It is something similar to like I have a head. I don't know the actual pain that I feel in my head. So first we have to define the problem deeply.
And you cannot solve this problem, what you will do?
What?
You cannot solve this problem. You have to solve this problem. And you cannot solve it.
Can we take it as a non-problem? Like deal with it as a non-problem, as an actual work that we have to do, basically?
Not really. Because you have to solve this problem.
I mean, we think about it as a problem. That's why we think about solving it, and we cannot solve it, basically. So if we think about it as a non-problem, it will be much easier to solve it. Why do we complicate things, basically? Why make it as a problem?
Yes, how to do that? You're very close. How to do that?
Just forget the problem.
Work on it as a simple
Actually,
thing.
Professor, actually, problem is just created in your mind. I mean, technically, it's like a limitation. So if your mind sees as a problem, that is a problem. If your mind sees as a good opportunity to learn, then yeah, your mind will automatically activate ways to solve it. Yeah, actually, you will actually find a way. I won't tell you how to solve what is the problem, but I think when your mind sees that as an opportunity to learn, as a way to actually enhance yourself, then your mind will automatically find ways to, whatever tools to actually solve it. So basically, it's just remove your limitation. So basically, you look at this picture, what's the problem? The line there, just remove the line. Actually, yeah, you actually can get the answer yourself. Either you remove the line or you walk the side of the line.
Actually, yeah. Yes, Hiba?
Yeah, which basically in the end, not think about it as a problem, thinking about it as a situation that you're dealing with, actually. Something that you have to overcome easily. And yeah, so why think about it as a problem?
So you have to solve this problem to go ahead, right? So the best way is wait a moment. Buy a bigger problem. When you buy a bigger problem, this problem will automatically take a back seat, and slowly it will go away from your mind. So to solve one problem, you have to buy one bigger problem, and to solve that you need to find another bigger problem to make that going out, and it's automatically mind is solving.
Are you saying, Professor, that we have to keep on the cycle of problems our whole life like that, going from a problem to a problem?
The problem is something with your mindset. So now, because you're focusing, oh, this is a problem, but when you have a bigger problem, you take this problem looks very negligible for you, and then you defocus yourself to get to solve that another problem which is bigger than this to solve. By the time you think you are not able to solve, you have another bigger problem to solve. Then you start involving in that. It's your mind. The problem is nowhere. Problem is in your mind. So you have to get rid of this problem from your mind. So the mind training is, by one bigger problem, the other problem will automatically go away.
So basically, it's just removing your limitations.
Yes, it's not limitation. It's like you are trying. For example, can anybody define what is happiness?
Oh,
what is
so many
happiness?
answers. There's so many answers for that.
Yeah, I want to know three people give me the answer. What do you understand by happiness?
Mental peace.
Peace of mind.
I just said that.
Yeah, Corey says money.
case.
I think for me is
That's
love.
true, Professor.
Like for me is compassion and love.
Yes, mostly the girls talk like this, love and emotion. She has a very special case. Ayman?
Oh no, Professor, not most of girls.
It's just a temporary, I don't know, temporary chemical reaction in the brain. Temporary chemical reaction in the brain, dopamine, just a temporary feeling of goodness, happiness. I don't know.
Yeah, Ayman is very scientific and technical. Actually, thank you. Happiness is very simple. It's just your state of mind. The state of mind. That is what is happiness. Sometimes people get happiness in doing for a very small things. Some people don't even get happy in a very big event happening in their life. So it's all the state of your mind. So this problem is a state of your mind. When it comes out of your mind and you get involved in another thing, that problem automatically withers out from your brain step by step. Do you follow me? Ayman? Yes, Salim, you want to say something?
Yeah, Professor, it's actually a state of mind when you, come to a conclusion or find a way to satisfy your needs. It's basically it's a kind of chemical reaction in our body when our mind finds out it, we feel satisfied. Happy. Actually, your and Amon's answer are valid through this question.
Yes, it's a state of mind actually. And how to say, the critical thinking is also, we are all talking about the way you think, positive, negative, critically, emotionally, friendly, the way you approach, your mind approach on certain things. And that's where you are training your mind actually. Thinking gives everything. First, as somebody was talking, something for somebody is good, for another person it's not good, because there's nothing good or bad. Thinking make it so. There is a saying, there's nothing good or bad. There's no book in this planet which defines these are bad, these are good. I have yet to find any book like this. The way you think make what is for someone is good, for someone is bad, and for someone is bad is someone for good. So as we say, for somebody it's food, for other person is a poison. You follow me?
Yes, Professor. Yeah, actually this quotation is from Professor Kant, a German philosopher.
Yes. It's, actually, this is a very interesting fact which most of the researchers have come up with. So now let me thank you so much. Let me go through now how we are going to crack our case studies. So now we are going to take the first case study, for example, and if we take the first case study, how we are going to approach this case study. As you know, I always incorporate this approach in any of our teaching, and that is 4 to 5 students comprising a group. So let's see how the logistics of this will work. The student review papers, generally it is 4 to 6 pages. I've already sent all the case studies to you. It's double spaced, sometimes single spaced, 12-point font, whatever, like case studies. Each person read loud his or her paper while the other group members follow along with their own copies. So for example, if you are in a group online, one person or your team leader or a supervisor or somebody will be reading and other people will be following to understand the case study. Why this is done? Because this is the way you engage your mind and focus on understanding the case study. Once the student have read their paper, the groups to do 3 things. First, discuss and summarize and identify what could be done to strengthen each summary as a clear, reliable presentation of the personal account. Discuss the question and the various answers given, complete in writing a discussion work. This is all has to be done in a group. Point one, what are the strengths in each person's review, and what are the some ways each student can improve his or her review to provide a clear, reliable presentation of the personal account. Because each person who's reading, he will come up individually his understanding of that particular case. So the different case studies is all very interesting. It's like a story. It's talking about something very interesting happening around the world on a critical thinking pattern, and it's not boring at all. But when everybody's looking into it, they're having their own personal way to look at it. Then point two, what were the various points discussed about the personal account? This is something which the team has to understand. Then what personal experience and observation of group members were mentioned as experience, observation, and confirm or call into question the personal account. Now today, after this PPT, we are going to on a breakout room. You have to come up before we close today, 10 points each group on the next topic on 25th, biodiversity. Each team member come up with one idea what he or she want to focus on this particular topic. Then what are the areas on which people reach consensus? Because sometimes there may be 20 ideas in a group. Then you have to moderate it and then say, okay, we have 5 people, so we need only 5 topics, 5 directions. So which are the best 5 directions on which we are going to focus on to make our script and speech? What are the areas on which people disagree? So you should know why they disagree. Because before discarding, you should have a very quick discussion why discarding. How could the personal account be strengthened as an introduction to one or more topics about this course? Discussion worksheet are graded, and each person in the group gets a grade for the worksheet. So the team leader has to make sure that the team member, what they're inputting it, she or he has to put a worksheet where she put the grades so that who did what and how much it should be mentioned. No parasites. This has to be very clear. Everybody has to do their own work. And then student assessment of group members' performance, a copy of a group assessment which include their material has to be given. And finally, you are going to have your case findings or any topic finding group-wise you'll present in the form of PPT. So at this moment, we have not started case study. That will be the next one. Now, today, we are going to focus mainly on the biodiversity topic, which is of United Nations, which is a question on the whole world. Everybody is thinking about, is talking about it on biodiversity, on the what is happening around in terms of sustainability, how to stay in harmony with nature, and how to make human beings survive. So now I'm sending everybody to their groups. Each group should come up with 5 after discussion, the direction, after brainstorming, which area he or she will be focusing, doing research, critical thinking, and will be talking. So this is how we are going to work today. So you can take a break by the time you are going on a meeting room. You have a 5 minutes break, and then you can join your breakout room. So I'm opening the breakout room now. Thank you, guys. Ima, Faraza,
Professor?